Okay, let's talk a minute about the political parties in America because it's pretty clear the parties don't represent what they claim to represent. It's absolutely undeniable that the Democratic Party no longer represents the middle class, middle left of the political spectrum. The party has been completely co opted by the far left radical progressive wing that has co opted Biden's administration and literally turned it into Bernie Sanders' socialism party. Half the party and a whole entire youth are calling for socialism, socialism, socialism. So the Democrat Party is no longer about constitutional government of a liberal form that provides safety nets for those that need assistance. It's turned into a full-fledged 100% government runs everything system of government dependence and regulatory authority, with law actually being made by the agencies to control the lives of the citizens for the benefit and diminished costs of the agencies without regard to the detriment or exaggerated costs handed to the individuals, the companies, or the citizens. So the far left is gone. They're socialists. They're no longer the Democrat Party of John F. Kennedy in the early 60s. That's gone. And the Republican Party, well, I don't think they're doing a whole lot better. There is a reason why the term rhino exists, Republican in name only. Since John F. Kennedy, the Republicans have joined with the Democrats to support income tax, the second plank of the Communist Manifesto, graduated taxation of the citizens, which is the unconstitutional division of the population into classes, different classes, the rich, the wealthy, the poor, the middle class, the upper class, the lower class, and then writes different law for each of the classes instead of having the constitutionally required uniform law that applies to everyone the same. And that class warfare is the foundation under the Communist Manifesto for the socialist government taking over the government. You divide up the people, you keep them fighting amongst one another. Both sides will constantly be calling for the government to intervene to stop the class warfare conflict within the population that the government engineered by creating the classes and writing different law for each class. The power of the Politburo, the political class, will always be increasing. And of course, in a constitutional republic where the government is limited, that becomes a problem because the more their power increases, the more they infringe on the Constitution, the more they diminish your rights underneath it and become more and more tyrannical and empirical rather than representative with their execution of the government powers, shall we say. So you have both parties abandoning the American people and operating to the extreme wing of the party. The Democrats, I said, have become virtually socialist, and the Republicans are no longer conservative or constitutionally oriented. They're probably best described as advocating corporatism, where the laws they write benefit the corporations rather than the individuals, unless we have a tax system where corporations like Google and Apple and the collective banking industry make billions and billions and billions of dollars. I think 11 billion for Google, 12 billion for Apple. Neither company paid any tax. Zero tax. And the banking industry collectively ends the year with a negative 33% discount for next year's tax. They pay no tax. So you have a system that has, through the written law, by the rhinos and the socialists, removes the burden from the corporate subjects where it was intended to be placed. They virtually pay no tax. And the wealthy pay no tax because they pay on lower rates on capital gains, and instead of selling assets to realize gains, they borrow against the assets and take the interest deductions, pay the loan back and own more, borrow against the bigger pile to do it again. So there's no tax incurred. So you've written a system that shifts the tax burden off the backs of the true subjects, the corporate subjects, doesn't care about the foreign persons. For God, no. If they ever enforce the law against the foreign person, somebody might realize that's all the statutes provide for. So they're just ignored. The corporations are excused. They're allowed to deduct all of their expenses. IBM, Microsoft, those companies deduct rent for thousands of offices all over the planet. What happens to you if you deduct one rent for your home? Don't you need a place to live to earn money the same way they need an office to do business to earn money? But they get to deduct 1,000 rents. You don't get to deduct one. So by this corrupt law, the true subjects and intended subjects of the income tax pay virtually none of it at all. And the entire burden of the tax system is shifted to the backs of the American people. And that's why people are so excited about Donald Trump, because his what's described as populism is actually only a return to the middle, where the majority of the population desires a constitutionally limited government that preserves private property and order and peace and good order in society and in the cities, preserves opportunity, equal rights, and equal access for everyone to better themselves under a system of hard work, careful investment, intelligence, knowledge, research, consistency, application of effort, and providing useful service that other people want that they can make a profit doing, that comes out of a system of self-responsibility and accountability, where people who steal are not allowed to go back and do it again, where people who assault people are not allowed to go back and do it again, where people who extort money are not allowed to go back and do it again because the system is off prosecuting their political enemy instead of the criminals. So Donald Trump's populism is actually a system, or arguing for a return to the constitutional system of limited government. Even though he sometimes makes jokes about things, what it really represents is that middle America's discontentment with both far wings, one serving the corporate and one serving the far socialist world elite, that are working to try and put a one world government in place where the whole planet's resources will be ruled from a small council 10,000 miles away. And of course, we already know that doesn't work. So that's why Donald Trump is so popular, and that's why it's important to vote for policies that you support rather than against the personality that you don't like. Because what are Joe Biden's policies? He's unable to go to the stage and articulate anything at all about what he stands for, what he wants to do, or what he's trying to do, or who he's working with to get anything done. The only thing he can do is rage irrationally and untruthfully about the Republican Party and the Donald Trump MAGA supporters. Make America great again. What we want is a peaceful nation, a secure nation, a productive nation, an energy-independent nation, a nation where the states are allowed to run the affairs of the states without interference or control by the federal government in areas of education, energy, environment, everything else. It isn't there in the Constitution. The federal government shouldn't be doing it. And what we need to do is get rid of half of the federal government. Half the department of the agencies, at least half of them, can be eliminated. I probably have some notes on that somewhere. Maybe we'll do a video on that too. So that's what's going on, and that's why it's important to pay attention this election and listen for policy positions and vote based on policy positions, not on personality. Everybody knows Donald Trump has a New York braggadocio attitude. You don't like it, that's fine. You don't have to like his personality. But for God's sake, look at the policies, the differences and the results we got between the two administrations. Recognize that what Trump is pushing for is that middle of the road government that isn't extreme to other side, that represents the American people, not the corporations or some far left radical philosophy or agenda, that preserves peace and order in the cities of the country and along the border, and that provides opportunities economically through job opportunities and expanded sales into the rest of the world for factories to produce more and sell into foreign markets without penalty or tax. The American people want their lives back, they want their property back, they want their wages back, they want their salaries back, they want their paychecks back, they want their nation back, they want their city back, they want their neighborhood back, they want their state back, they want their country back, and then they want to be left alone to work hard and be productive without dependence on the government, without being robbed by the government. So that's where we are today. The Democrat Party are socialists. The Republican Party, the rhinos, are corporatists. And there's no one for any American to vote for who represents them that has any possibility at all of winning except for Donald Trump, who will reverse all of the policies that have been put in place the last 3.5 years that have destroyed the quality of life, enabled war around the planet, and basically let America drop out of foreign affairs. 20 years and $1 trillion of investment in a peaceful and stable government in Afghanistan. Joe Biden gave it all away, sent Afghanistan back into the Stone Ages in 11 months. It took 11 months for him to throw away $1 trillion investment and hand it back to ISIS, who are now enslaving the women there. So good job, girls. You put a man in office who destroyed life for females in Afghanistan. Good job.